Angels, it's Hailey Reese, and I hope that you guys are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, night, whatever it is for you. When this video finally reaches you, you guys, happy Monday. I am so excited because today officially marks the start of my new upload schedule. I'm gonna pop that up on the screen right here. Between this channel, my vlog channel, and my Patreon, you guys are going to be getting a mass amount of content from me, and I am so excited to be uploading more consistently and just being with you guys way more days out of the week. So I'm so excited. If you guys are new to this channel and you do enjoy my content, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss out. If you've yet to subscribe to my vlog channel slash lifestyle channel slash get the tea all on me channel, I'll have that linked down below. Subscribe to Daily Hailey, and then on top of that, if you would like to, you can support me on Patreon. But other than that, I am just so excited to be uploading a ton for you guys. Today's video is really spooky, you guys, and it just feels fitting for me because outside right now, it has been thundering and storming and raining, and I'm just like, what better day to film a video like this and share a video like this with you guys? So we are going to be talking about the stranger and whether or not maybe the stranger has called or contacted you. So without further ado, sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on, and let's get into today's story. Here we go, you guys. It's titled, Has the Stranger Called You? I think at one point or another, we've all heard a scary story, especially if you're on my channel. Maybe by a bonfire, maybe at a sleepover, or maybe you were crazy like me growing up and searched for them during your spare time. I've always loved a good scary story. In fact, there wasn't much that I loved more than finding a story or a plot spooky enough to make you look over your shoulder. It was thrilling, and safe to say, I've always been a horror fan. But I've always thought of them as just that, stories. Make-believe, not real, for the fun of it. I never imagined that these stories stemmed from horrors across the world more real than what we could even fathom. I'm slowly learning that every scary story we've ever heard is an expansion of something dark that actually exists in our world. And I had to learn the hard way. What a stupid girl I was. The story that I'm about to share with you isn't just a story. Yes, it is enough to make you look over your shoulder, but only because you should be looking over your shoulder, if the stranger called you, that is. This all first started around 2 years ago. I just finished college and was actually pretty lost in life. I was swamped in student debt and couldn't find a job in my field, figures. I couldn't move back home due to personal situations and didn't have any real friends. I'd also never felt worse about myself. I found myself moving into lower vibrational activities, bracket, something I'm learning all about now due to the consequences of my actions. Substances, bad crowds, and what I now realize might have been occult activities. I don't think that's how or why the stranger found me, but I know that it probably made it a hell of a lot easier. After a few months, I could hardly remember. I decided to leave a toxic relationship and move in with my grandma. Her and I had never really been close per se, but my home environment was toxic as mentioned, and I just needed to make a big change, for the better at least. At first, I thought I was going crazy when the calls first started coming in. An unknown number followed by silence multiple times a day. But things got much darker, quickly. The callers started to breathe heavily into the phone, and sometimes I'd even hear what sounded just like chains. I figured it was probably my ex or his dumb friends on a high trying to scare me into reaching back out to him. I made a promise to myself that I would never give him that satisfaction, so I brushed it off and eventually just stopped picking up the phone. The calls became my new normal. I actually started to make jokes about them. For the first few months, I really thought it was just a prank, or someone who didn't know when enough was enough. The calls would alternate between complete silence, heavy breathing, and while nothing was said, occasionally the chains would make their appearance, and admittedly, those calls were my least favorite. One day, a few months after the first call, I decided enough was enough. I was just about to start applying for jobs, and I had grown tired of these pointless calls. Since I didn't have many friends to begin with, I decided that changing my number was looking like the best option. So I did. And just like that, as you could imagine, the calls stopped. I felt like this meant it must have been my ex-boyfriend or some old friends that I got mixed up with, and then I got a job at a local diner not too far from my house. Kind of depressing when you did push yourself through college for what felt like nothing at this time, but it did feel like my life was slowly getting back on track. Maybe not the track I wanted, but on track nonetheless. One Saturday, I'd finished my work shift and was particularly exhausted. I grabbed my purse and was about to head on my walk home when it started to rain. As I was leaving, I noticed a peculiar hooded man in the distance. Not because of him, but just because of the rain, I started to run home as fast as I could. I ran all the way home and closed the door behind me, took off my coat, put my purse away, and pulled out my phone. 6 missed calls. Unknown number. I immediately started to think that I'd gone insane. I had a new number. It had been so long. Surely that was nothing more than a wrong number calling me. But 6 times? Exhausted, I shut off my phone and made sure my grandma was sleeping well and climbed into my bed. I tried to sleep but continued tossing and turning. Since I couldn't sleep, I got up and opened up my laptop. One new email. Nice to see you tonight. Did you miss me? Signed, The Stranger. Admittedly, I remembered the hooded man in the rain and the 6 missed calls that followed. Something didn't feel right about it, but I just slammed my computer shut and forced myself to get some sleep, though I really didn't sleep well in the slightest. The next day, I paid a visit to the police station and shared everything that had been happening. While the officer agreed that something didn't seem right, they really didn't have anything to go off of. They told me that it was most likely someone pranking me or messing with me, but also told me not to walk home alone after work anymore and to document things going forward. A few weeks went by, and I started to think that maybe I overthinked that night. Maybe the hooded man I saw had nothing to do with the calls, and maybe the email was just spam. As each day passed without any more calls or emails, I started to feel better. Then one day, I got home from a late shift. Walking up to my grandma's house, I noticed something on the porch that seemed out of place. As I got closer, I noticed chains sitting right in front of the door with a tiny note. In case you missed the sound. My heart started to race. It was like all at once any doubt that I'd ever had of the stranger watching me, calling me, and knowing me flew out the window, and I knew that he hadn't went away, that I hadn't been safe enough at all. I knew he was watching. I spent the next few hours at the police station handing over my findings and the rest of the night digging on the internet. That's the reason for this story. You see, I'm not just telling you what happened to me. I'm telling you what could happen to you. After a few hours on the internet, I realized I wasn't the only one who had this stranger in their life. There was a forum, one that I don't recommend anybody finding, and there were pages and pages of people who had been called and then stalked by said stranger. Unknown calls of breathing, silence followed by the chains, a hooded man, gifts, and then in some experiences, the unthinkable. You won't be hearing from me again. I plan to disappear before he gets to me, or even worse, my grandmother. This man is sick, the more that I've learned. And actually, the more that I dig, I'm not even quite certain it's a real man at all. But please know, these horror stories that we can read, these things that we can hear about, and everything in between, aren't nearly as dark as what's really out there. And I learned that the hard way. P.S. He's called me 6 times in a row, 3 times this week. Hear my warning. And that's the end. I don't want to say anything about this, you guys. When I first skimmed this, I had such goosebumps and such chills, and the whole story has so many things that line up in so many ways that just make my mind go a million miles a minute. So I really want to ask you guys, what do you guys think of this story? What do you think of this experience? Did you read between the lines and pick up on things? Please, 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 please let me know your theories down below, because that is absolutely one of my favorite things to do, is just to read through and hear all of your guys' thoughts and theories. So please don't hesitate to let me know what you guys think. Anytime, you guys, I've talked about this in the past, which is kind of the irony of this story, that one of the movies that really scared me growing up was When a Stranger Calls. And the concept of human beings and stalkers and all of that is at most times scarier to me than anything paranormal. And anytime I read stories like this, it just like makes me like check over my shoulder more and just, I don't know, it really freaks me out. So I want to know what you guys think of this, and that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys are just as excited as me for the new upload schedule. I'm going to be posting consistently on all of the days that I shared with you at the beginning of the video. So if you guys are new to my channel, or you are just not yet subscribed, but you do enjoy my videos, make sure you guys go ahead and click that subscribe button. And also, while you're at it, please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.